Hi everyone, McBeard here, back with a companion video to go along with the deck guide video that I did for the Radovid deck. If you want to see that video, check the link in the description below. I go through the deck in detail, but what I wanted to do is I wanted to show more than just a single game every time I made a deck video, because I feel like you don't really get a very good spectrum of what the deck can do in different situations, how it can excel, where it can struggle, and you know, lots of different permutations of hands and situations, factions, matchups. So you really don't get a lot in one game, but if I did a deck guide and gameplay, I could really only fit in one game before the video became like over half an hour long. So what I'd like to do is have deck guide videos and then have separate videos that have at least 2 games on there. You know, really quick games, maybe really funny concedes. I obviously would add those in too. But I'd like to get 2 games going for you with the Radovid deck. So let's just quickly look at the deck, and then we'll get right into the gameplay for this one. So here's the Radovid deck one more time. If you want to see what I have to say about these card choices and this deck overall, check the link in the description. It is the video about the guide on the deck here. So just for posterity, here is the deck, but we're going to get into some ranked games because we're still climbing. We're still climbing, and we want to keep climbing. We're just going to go right in here. We're just going to take care of business and hopefully get a good game to play. That's what I'd like. So I like this deck a lot. I feel like as far as, at least for climbing decks, I think that like the Scoia'tael Dwarf deck is really popular for climbing, and monsters as well, very popular for climbing. It looks like we're up against monsters. So we like this matchup because there's a lot of stuff to kill. We're really good in weather as well because of the Redanian Knights. So I think that I think we'll be able to do pretty well here. Generally, you're always wanting to mulligan these frosts away because the R2s will pull it for you, and you know, sometimes you might get caught with a frost in hand, but then Sheila can make that better for you. But we're not doing any of that. We're just going to mulligan the frost. Seems like it's a pretty easy mulligan. There's Baron, so that'll be another mulligan, but we're going to see if we get Sarah first from this, because we'd keep Sarah in hand, because that would guarantee that we would have 3 golds in hand. We did not. Well, we kind of did, didn't we? We kind of got Sarah because we got reinforcement. So I like using reinforcement more flexibly, but at the same time, I don't like getting stuck with it late. I think we're actually going to take this. We're going to reinforcement Sarah out, and I'm going to show you that Sarah interaction. I think that's going to be good for us. We're not going to go first, but we definitely want to get that done right away. Usually, if we're going first against monsters, we'd preemptively weather the siege row in case it's Ericus Behemoth, because it's really good to kill those guys early. It just makes it a lot easier to keep up and fight for the round. Although when the Ericus Behemoth procs, it's not so bad because then you have a lot of stuff to kill for Baron. So now I would obviously frost this row, but I think playing Sarah now actually won't be bad. It definitely opens up the rest of the game for us, and I think that we're probably going to... I mean, Harpies are good, right? You see them in any deck at all. So it's hard to say exactly what we're facing right now.
Do you want to
But the point is, we're getting ahead. We're getting work done. We're getting Triss, Vernon, and Villain Trettenworth all in hand, which is good. We're happy to have that. But now we get to see what comes from that. Looks like it's probably just going to be weather. So this is going to be possibly a token-based Dagon deck, maybe just Fogs, Foglets, and maybe Necro Warriors on Foglets, perhaps. But the good news is, a tick of this doesn't really matter too much. Next tick, we put down the Redanian Knight. And we could even go ahead and even put the Aretuza Adept on the Foglet row. But cleaning up the eggs is always important. So I think we're going to first frost the range row. We do have 2 frosts. We also have Erica's Venom as well to hit 3 things. So it kills 3 things. Don't look at it like value. Look at it like it kills 3 things. I mean, sometimes you're happy to use it for value, of course. So we'll go ahead and just frost the ranged row.
Doubt I'll ever pay off these school loans.
And then the Redanian Knight's going to follow up, and then that's going to grow in the fog, and then he'll have to solve it. A lot of times, opposing monsters player will use Frightener to pull the Redanian Knight out of the weather. But this really does... Now, we're getting a little bit behind now. Like, our opponent could pass on us, realistically, if they wanted to get the card. And getting cards is really important for monsters, because Grave Agony is going to take the pass. So I think I'm fine. I mean, this is a really unfavorable board for him. Making up the 10 isn't hard. So our Redanian Knight will be buffed by 2, and the Harpy will get ticked by 2. So we really only need 7 points. Where do we get the 7 points best? Because I feel like there's really no way to get 7 points without wasting something. So I'm just going to go ahead and use Merktabraka here. And I'm not going to kill the egg because Vernon's really good with Harpies on Fairweather. I wasted a point there. My bad. I wasted a point. I shouldn't have had that second harpy. But killing something... Now, the thing is, I could have actually... No, I think maybe I was overthinking, and maybe for the video. Just so you guys know, that was a terrible play. What I should have done is set up the harpy to die in the frost. Really, that's what I should have done. So, and I didn't do that. But just keep that in mind if you want your Bloody Baron to grow. Generally, you always want to take rounds so you can push a round 2 longer. And you want to kill as much as possible. So don't do what I just did. Just going to be super aware about that. Don't do what I just did. But we're going to lead off with Vernon here because we have 2 harpies to kill. It's actually really strong. It sets us up with a healthy amount of points here, and it also reduces them to 0. Plus, it kills 2 units. It's pretty awesome. We have a Thunder. We're going to hold on to Sheila. Erica's Venom as well. We got the Baron back. Obviously, we're going to put it back, so there's really not much of a choice to make here. And we're going to lead off with Vernon because it's the perfect situation.
Nice mess you've got here.
So we're in a great spot to push here. We've got lots of removal options, and we don't care too much about weather. I think that the best thing I'm going to do now, I think I'm just going to frost the front row. But we do have options. Erica's Venom, I would love to kill more than one thing. Thunder seems extreme for the Wild Hunt Hound, doesn't pose any future threat. Triss is not bad. Triss is not bad, but I think developing the Frost is probably better long-term for kills, because we want to ramp that Baron up already. It's at 11. So it's almost good. He's almost ready. I like my Baron legal drinking age in Canada, so 19 plus.
Oh, Lady Margarita told us of this.
Don't really want to hang out with him if he's if he can't go to the bar with me. You know what I mean? Frightener on the round that he has to win too. So now, really, where am I getting the most value here? The Frost is going to kill it anyway, so I'd like to probably develop something else. Villain Tretmirth is not super favorable because it's probably just going to kill the Frightener. But I'm definitely not stepping out of the round. So I think I have to waste a card. I think I have to kind of waste a card. So the best way to do this when you're wasting a card is probably cycle something. So it looks like the Ericus Venom or the Thunder. Given that I have 2 Thunders, also given that I don't think the Thunder's going to have like any pure like 7 targets, I'm just going to cycle a Thunder here.
Interesting.
Makes me kind of, ooh, well, this does happen sometimes. This unfortunately does happen sometimes. It's not often that it happens, but it happens that Baron actually gets put to the top of the deck when mulliganed. It's a mulligan thing, I think, more than it is a Baron thing, because Baron's been debugged to not go to the top of the deck all the time, right away. So we're going to have to deal with this now, which is kind of bad because I don't want to really stay in the round. Now our lead just got cut a little bit. But 15 is probably fine. 13, I should say. This actually puts us in a pretty bad position because our opponent can probably make this up in 1 card. I mean, with the Frost tick only being 1, it may take more than 1, or it may take him a really important card. But this is not a Gravehag deck. This is a Weather deck. We haven't seen any like real win condition kind of strategy from the opponent yet. Like no Necro Warriors buffing Foglets. This is the only gold card we've seen now is Geralt Igni. I mean, if this is the kind of swing card he feels forced to spend, I think I'm okay. If Sheila didn't draw the Baron, I would stay in this round for sure. But I think we're just going to try to get cards out of him here, and I think that this isn't so bad being ahead by double digits. This is a decent sign that he doesn't have like a clear-cut thing that he wants to do, and he definitely is now spending more than 1 card. So that's really good for us. Baron could have been a 12. If I pinged correctly with Merktabraka, but I didn't. I didn't. So the cool thing is our hand is very good for Villain Tretmirth since we have no units that are going to get burned by Villain Tretmirth. So he's going for the carryover. Might as well. We might as well. At least it gives us a target. At least it gives us a target for Triss. So we'll have to deal with a Harpy and an Ekamara. With Radovid being available, Triss and, you know, Baron will come down earlier at this point now. Villain Tretmirth is probably killing... Well, no, Margarita actually helps us here, and I think Margarita is probably one of the better draws. I think I really would like to have a Redanian Knight for weather, because I'm pretty sure we're going to see more fog from Woodland Spirit. So I think I'm going to actually try to get a Redanian Knight here. What's the worst thing we could get? A Biting Frost isn't even that bad. Erica's Venom already has limited application in the first place. but I missed my chance. We're going to hold on to it. Margarita does change things a little bit. So I don't think I'm going to use Margarita right away, though, or really anytime soon, because I'd like to give him the illusion that that 11 strength unit is the target for Villain Trettenmirth. So it's probably... sometimes when I'm stuck with Baron that's kind of subpar, very subpar, it's usually fine just to play it. So I think I'm just going to play it because it's the... You know, we're not getting no interaction here from the opponent here. We know that the Ekamara doesn't need to be damaged because we're going to do most of it with Margarita. So right into the Frosty. Why not? I mean, he could get debombed, but I think I'm putting all of my golds on different rows. We've already seen Igni. There's not too much to really worry about as far as that's concerned. Becker's Twisted Mirror. Very interesting. I'm not sure if he only had the one choice. I may have missed the selection here if he has all of his golds in his hand. He has only 3 cards left in his deck, so it's possible. Radovid here isn't that bad. I lose a point of value because I won't be hitting the Harpy.
It is how I punish those who irritate me.
Also gives my opponent the illusion that I have no locks left. So it's kind of funny. It's when you see Igni, sometimes when you play Igni, your opponents get a little loose with how they stack their rows. Like there's nothing ever to fear anymore. One of the reasons why I like to play Scorch. He has to just kind of use a lock. So Fiend is, I mean, again, it's not a big deal for me because there's not much that I'd be doing here. But Triss has a perfect fit here, so I think I just kill the Fiend with Triss.
I will not let this become a second Sodom.
It's looking like it's going to be possibly okay. As long as there's a target over 4, so Margarita isn't what gets burned here. So in case he's running stuff like Thunderbolt Potion and stuff like that, taking care of one of these rows is probably best. Then again, if he's running Thunderbolt Potion, I'm happy for him to buff, you know, whatever he wants, honestly, because Villain Trettenmirth is going to get his. But I think killing the Foglets here is probably fine. Also means that Margarita will die in the fog if I don't play her last. I think I might play her last, because if he's running a Thunderbolt Potion, he may just take the opportunity to buff up the wolves and they'll be not staggered. That's excellent. I think that may make this okay. Not going to put Villain Trettenmirth in the weather because, well, I mean, if there's a Shackles, I think we may see it by now. But if he Shackles Villain Trettenmirth, I don't want Villain Trettenmirth to just die. Fire Elemental. So it's possible that we'll see Commander's Horn here, but at least again, the Thunder has a perfect fit. So we should be able to take out the 5s, but if he has another Thunderbolt Potion, he'll be able to stagger it. Which is too bad. But will it be enough anyway? I mean, will it even be enough for him? That's the question. Right now, that 11 protects. But he might play around Margarita anyway. He might be playing around her set. Nope, he's just going to play Caranthier. So, the good news is we win. The bad news is, for my opponent, is that he loses.
What can I do for you?
That went perfect, I think. I'll take that game. I'll take that game. A GG. All right, folks, it's the next day. I played a whole stream with Bloody Baron Radovid. Played about 6 hours of it, and I found that it did pretty well. I'm going to make one quick shift, I think. I'm going to take this card out here, the Erika's Venom. I'm going to put in a Dimeridium Shackles. All right, so let's get into it. I mean, we had a decent climb yesterday. It was okay. It kind of got a little weird at the end.
There will be no negotiation.
But I've played a fair amount of it now. I think I've played over 50 games with it. So now, if this is the dwarf matchup, this is very favored. But if it's a Scorch Scoia'tael matchup, it may not be favored. They're two very different matchups. So I'm going to mulligan as if it was any matchup, really. I mean, if it was... I mean, no. I should mulligan as if it's dwarves, because if it's Scorch, then I don't know if it's going to really make a huge difference what I have. But having the Thunder is good. The 2 Frosts is going to be okay. Sheila and Triss are going to be good. I'm probably going to try to grab one more spell here. I mean, the lock is good as well. Radovision should do the trick. Scorch will probably do a good job as well. I have 2 R2s. This could be a third. This might actually be fine. I think this might be fine. We should deal with most of the threats. The thing is, you really want to deal with all of the threats. All right. Well, let's preemptively frost the siege row. Because even if it isn't Yarpen that's coming down, there could be Brea Dragoons or something like that as well. So siege row is usually pretty safe to start with. I'm having a really high ping with this game, I think. Hopefully we can get to the end of it. Alright, so it is dwarves. So this is favored for us. This is a favored matchup for us. So we'll just eliminate the dwarves. It's pretty much the game plan. Save Thunder. I might, if Yarpen is up in Scorchable territory, as in out of Thunder's reach, I may just Scorch it. Like, leaving a unit alive is almost as much of a liability as it is to locking it. So, actually destroying it is very important. Because they just buff everything. So this is a little bit harder to destroy without using something like Thunder, which I'd rather not use. Locking is almost inconsequential because of the late game Ithleen double adrenaline rush on anything that's buffed. So we kind of have to pay respect to everything regardless. I think I'm just going to Thunder with Sheila. I could also just frost the front row.
Doubt I'll ever pay off
Go ahead and
these
frost the
school
front
loans.
row. Maybe follow up with Radovid.
Now we must stick together.
You can make a case to Scorch this. So this is good because Lacerate actually kills this, and I think that's very much worth it. If I'm looking for tempo, I'd obviously just want to play Sheila right here. Yeah, I think I'll just play Sheila right here with the Lacerate.
My studies are more important.
Lacerate, in theory,
this.
shouldn't be greedy in this matchup, because if I'm being greedy with Lacerate, then I'm actually expecting a row of units, and having a row of units in this matchup means that you could lose it. And that's going to be that. So that's the shutdown game for the Dwarf Scoia'tael. We'll see if this is enough. Tracker didn't load up this time around, so you can't track Baron with me on the side of the screen, but we're going to take a peek here. We did kill 4 things, I think, so Baron 10, yeah. And we'll put him back because we'll push this round. I mean, if it's all carryover stuff, maybe I should just... No, I need to push this round to the end. I'm pretty sure, but we can still kill and deal with a lot of stuff. I even think that playing the first light isn't even bad to lead off.
As you wish, milady.
We got it. We got it. That's really good for us, I think. Bit of a high roll, but I'll take it.
Get the move on, lads. Look alive. Ah, I can't be asked.
More Rolock. That's good. Like, I ultimately want to make sure I have an answer for that last Mahakam Guard. Vernon might be okay here. Actually, I think Vernon might be better next turn. If I Thunder... Well, I don't want to use the Thunder, though. That's the problem. We haven't seen Yarpen or anything like that, right?
Temerian. That's what matters. Death to the enemy!
The storm is coming. Let's enjoy the weather while we still can.
Show me that third guard. Show me that third guard. That's okay for us. We're trying to kill units here, so Murktebrak isn't bad because it does kill the Mercenary. But the Redanian Knight, I mean... Ultimately, we always have locks for buffed units.
Best give up now!
That is to say, we always have Margarita for a buffed unit, and we always have Radovid for a resilient buffed unit. Just so we're clear.
Everything all right?
Playing the Mercenary into the Frost. Leads me to believe that there is an immune boost in the deck. Perhaps?
Have strength, my love.
Looking for an immune boost here, perhaps? There it is. Villain Trentonworth might be a legitimate play to take care of some units here. I can't use the locks now until the resilience is applied, and I'm pretty sure it will be applied. I'm actually passing. I'm actually passing here. If he wants to apply his resilience, knowing that I have Villain Trentonworth on hand now, oh, he's not going to do it. So that must take out a lot of good stuff about his deck, because carryover is kind of the big thing here. Carryover is pretty important. So Baron he's tiny, okay? He's tiny. Removal is less important now. I think.
Any is want a good look at my axe?
Yarpin is still threatening, but Margarita can stop. Basically, just bring him back down to 8. So Margarita might be my solution if Villain Trentonworth isn't already my solution.
For Radovision!
They used tired my tongue about that.
Yeah, where to go? Where to go? I mean, I can line them up for Villain Trentonworth as well. I think playing Baron now is fine, because Baron is... If he has a way of dealing with an 11 strength gold, it's not even great, but... pretty great situations for a Baron showcase deck, but it's really more of a Radovid showcase, I think. Control. I think Radovid's just going to be played for value, probably.
I'll gather my men.
We got a bit greedy and we lost the card in round 2, which is unfortunate, but we just saw our opponent waste one. So that's really good. There's a lot of stuff that I'd actually like Villain Trentonworth to do before. I think maybe playing Villain Trentonworth now is correct. Let's see what we can do here. If his whole game is buffs, then we're good.
They used tired my tongue about that.
Yarpin got, no, he was just played. He was just played. It's the same thing. Locking Yarpin is better, though. Locking and reducing Yarpin is better, because he's the one that has the ability that's going to continue to go off. I'm going to play it like this. I'm going to do it this way.
I've had men killed for less.
Yarpin at least will always use the Scorch if removing 6 is better, I think. That's pretty good. So I can do some sculpting here. What I do is I would undo the Thunderbolt Potion with Margarita. Villain Trentonworth would trigger on Yarpin. So I'll just take the buff off of it.
What can I do for you?
Like, that's just gone. Yeah, that's what he has to do. That's what he has to do. I was going to have to see if he has it. I don't think he does, though. Thunderbolt Potion is probably the only thing you can do.
Hold the lines! There will be no negotiation.
Unless I'm not considering the 20-point play that comes from this. So, it's a great matchup for Dwarves. Radovid control. Radovid still ended up being a baby, but I think it was in the best interest to avoid getting hit really hard with carryover tactics that this deck tends to use. Didn't get to use that Dimeradium Shackles I teched in at the beginning either, but hey, what are you going to do? All right, well, thanks for watching, everybody. That's my Baron Radovid deck. I'm going to move on to some new decks for the next couple of videos. I'm looking at 2 right now, Skellige and Scoia'tael. I think have my interest. So stay tuned, like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you soon. Take care.